What's going on, guys? So Tim Kuniskis, the CEO of Ram, had recently been quoted as saying that the Hemi V8 could be making a return to the 1500 series of trucks. Now, this is music to the ears for a lot of truck buyers. These are guys that will not buy a pickup truck unless it has a V8. Regardless of how much power the inline or V6 turbo engines have to offer from whatever manufacturer, it's the power of choice that folks want to exercise, as well as that instant torque response that these powerful V8s do have to offer. The Hemi V8, despite any of its failings, is the largest standard V8, or I should say was the largest standard V8 in its class. And at 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, it's no slouch. But since it's been gone, sales for Ram has slumped. In fact, some reports are as high as 20% down year over year, with some quarters looking awful, and a lot of that could be because they don't offer the V8 anymore. Now, the jury might still be out on the why, but the how, in terms of do you put that V8 into this truck, is already being kicked around. Now, I get it. For a lot of you guys, you're going to say, well, look, the V8 was in the truck, just put it back. Well, the problem is there are quite a few things that have changed with the truck when it was designed to work solely with the Turbo 6 engines that are going to have to be worked around to get the V8 to accommodate that platform. The good news is, though, is that it is an existing engine. It's a known quantity in terms of emissions, power, all of that. It's going to be an easy switch, but it won't happen immediately. There's concerns of supply chain, reintroducing supply feed into the system, so to speak, to allow for these engines to be produced and installed. You got to remember that all of those contracts would have already been canceled. That stuff's going to have to get spooled back up and put online. But for whatever amount of time that it takes to get that up and running, that's how long we're going to have to wait for that V8 to be offered. But will it be worth the wait? That's the big question. You see, right now, the T6 engines, like it or not, are significantly more powerful than that 5.7 liter. So how could this play out? Well, in my mind, the scenario works out like this. You'll always have a base model V6. Leave that alone. The standard output Hurricane 6 can remain in the lineup for all the trim levels. But that 5.7 liter V8, I can see it being somewhat limited in its scope. I would think that maybe a tradesman and maybe the next step up, that Longhorn edition, would be the top tier that you would be able to get the 5.7 liter engine in. The higher tier trucks, I don't think would work well with the design language, if you will say that like that, for that Hemi V8. The reason for that is just doesn't make enough power. Could you imagine buying a tungsten level or a platinum level truck that only has 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque? I don't know that it would play well, but you know what would? The 6.4 liter. Here's my suggestion, as humble as that is. Have the 5.7 liter for the tradesman and for that Lone Star offering. Limit it to that, but bring the 6.4 liter, and I'm not talking about the truck 6.4 liter, I'm talking about the fire-breathing 485 horsepower engine out of the Scat Pack variants. Put that as an engine level for any pickup truck that you would like to buy. Granted, it's going to come at a premium, but listen, there are folks that'll take a 485 horsepower, or let's say you had to detune it down to 450 horsepower just because of knock restrictions in the weight of the truck. I get that. So let's say it's 450 something horsepower, 6.4 liter V8. They will pick this over any other engine offering in any of these higher trim level trucks, just to have that powerful V8, to have the sound, and to have the choice that comes along with it. Because I gotta tell you, that is an engine offering that should have been available for the trucks from the beginning. Better late than never, right? But let's get that engine to the party as soon as possible. And I think with that level of choice, you'll have a means to be able to upgrade into whichever street level truck you want to get with that engine, or off-road level truck in, say, the Rebels, with an engine that has that charm and that brute force strength that that 6.4 liter would have. Save the 5.7 liter for the lower tier trucks, again, because I don't feel like it makes a whole lot of sense to have that low of a power level in these upper engine or upper trim levels with engines like even the T6 making 470 pound-feet of torque and 420 horsepower. That, you see what I'm saying? But that 6.4 liter, oh, the goodness that would bring. So if you're going to bring back the 5.7, go ahead and bring back the 6.4. You're doing the engineering work anyway. Give the buyers the power of choice. Give them the engines that they're asking for. And I will assure you that the push and the heat will come back to Ram. You're going to get a lot more excitement, much more than any other brands that you're going to find under the Stellantis umbrella, at least in the States. Bring back and breathe back some life back into that brand and get us excited again. And I think you'd be able to reap the rewards. And with that, guys, post up your comments. Let me know what you think. Should they put that V8 back in the truck? Would you buy one if it had a 6.4 option? Man, I might be tempted. With that, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for stopping by.